So guys, I just got done watching the draft, and John is gone. I know I'm kind of in the minority here, but I really liked John. They always had this undying energy and perseverance to them. They just never gave up, and they were so warm and heartwarming. They always seemed like a family, like they loved each other. And it's pretty evident in an event that I will talk about later. So I'm going to be talking about the five-way match that happened and then the draft itself. I'm not going to be going too much into everything. It's going to be kind of just an info dump with my opinions and or comments thrown in here or there. So let's get to the match. The match was a five-way battle between each faction leader. So how it worked was the first person to get a win, whether it be pin, submission, or over-the-top elimination, they would get that pick. So the first person to win would get the first pick, second person to win would get the second pick, and then they would leave the match. This goes on and on until they are down to two people, and then the winner of that gets the last fourth pick, and then the loser gets their team disbanded. Obviously, you already know that John was the one that disbands because that's what I said earlier. Seriously, watching this match, even though I was very, very confident that John was going to be the one eliminated, I still felt a little sliver of hope, so my heart was racing this entire time. I was very anxious. I was very, very worried for John. Unfortunately, my worrying didn't pay off because they just... boom. Perfect. It was perfect timing for a knuckle crack. The match was very, very good. It was what you expect, having five of the most talented people in Stardom right now in the ring at once. It was Kagetsu representing Odo Tai, Momo Watanabe representing Queen's Quest, Hana Kimura representing her new team International Army, then there was Jungle Kiona representing John, and then Mayu Iwatani representing Stars. Now, this was going to be interesting because Mayu just recently announced that she was going to be leaving for an undisclosed amount of time to heal up her knee. Meaning, I was wondering if she was actually going to wrestle in this. Sometimes Stardom still has a wrestler in the match if they aren't going to wrestle. For example, during the Odo Tai Queen's Quest elimination match, Azumi eliminated Chris Wolf right away without any wrestling. And I believe it was because Chris might have been injured at the time, but Maya was able to win by knocking out Kagetsu as Kagetsu was going for her rope drop kick thing that she does off the top rope where she jumps up and does it. Mayu kind of sat out for a little bit of it and then came in at the last moment kind of sneakily and took the win there. So Mayu got the first pick and Kagetsu was the first one to get eliminated. So then it was down to the other four. The second person to get a win was Momo Watanabe, kind of in the same fashion. She, after Jungle Kiona beat the crap out of Kagetsu and got her into a position of elimination, Momo kind of snuck in and did one last hit and got the elimination on Kagetsu, getting the second pick. That left the last three, where Kagetsu was able to get the third spot pick by sliding under the ropes and dragging Hana Kimura off the apron as Hana was standing out there from her battle with Jungle Kiona. As you can see, a pattern here is that none of the people eliminated except for the last elimination was Jungle Kiona, and two out of the three people eliminated before her were all mostly beaten up by her and was about to be eliminated by her before someone else kind of snuck in to take the win. Then the last two people were Hana Kimura and Jungle Kiona, and of course, once it was down to these two, it was pretty much guaranteed that Jungle was going to lose, and sure enough, she did. She gets eliminated and right in front of her team, and I want you guys to take a look at how John reacts to this. It's going to be important later when I bring up something. As you can see, Jungle is absolutely ashamed of herself. She is devastated that she lost. Natsuko looked super confused, super worried, upset, and then the rest of the members were absolutely bawling their eyes out. Real tears, crying, all of that. It was very, very heartbreaking. It really sucks that John was the one eliminated, but it was no surprise. John members weren't ever really above others. They were always treated as the fourth faction instead of one of the four factions. They were always below the other ones. They were never really given their fair push, in my opinion. Every time they kind of got something of a reward, say the tag belts, the triple belts, or whatnot, they never really got to do anything with them, and then they lost them shortly after. So it's no surprise here that they dismantled John. As you guys know, John was my second favorite faction after Queen's Quest, so I am understandably very upset about this. I still hate it, with a passion that it happened. With the match now over, we are moving to the draft part of it. And the draft part, I gotta say I didn't hate it. I actually really liked it. With the taking it away from the match, just looking at the draft itself, I thought it was really, really well done. It was almost perfectly done in some aspects. And it actually creates scenarios and moments that make you really excited for the future. With that said, I'm still really upset that John lost. So the pick order, like I said, was Mayu first for Stars, then Momo for Queen's Quest, then Kagetsu for Odo Tai, and then Hana for the International Army. I'm going to try, I might just call her promotion the Inter Army. Just because the International Army seems so long. So if I just call them the Inter Army until they come up with a better name for them. But there's been multiple instances where her group was called the International Army. So that's what I'm calling it until they change it. Round 1. Mayu does the same thing she did last year. And unlike last year, this actually seems like a very, very good pick. She chose Starlight Kid again for the first round, and Starlight Kid was ecstatic. She was very happy. She even jumped up and hugged Mayu. What I meant by it being a good choice this year, unlike last year, was last year Starlight Kid was nowhere near as good as she is now. She didn't show like she had any kind of motivation to take advantage of the potential that she has. I was kind of, let's just say I wasn't exactly convinced that she was going to keep doing this after she graduated. Now I am pretty convinced. She's very well tapped into her potential. And I think this was actually a very, very good pick for her. And it correlates into the first pick for Queen's Quest, which was, like last year, Azumi. This time it was Momo choosing her first. Now, we don't know if Momo chose her first just to keep her away from Kagetsu, because Kagetsu has been hinting that she really wants Azumi, and Kagetsu acted all sad and was playing up how upset she was that Azumi got picked. I think this was also the right choice. Excluding short time after her debut, Azumi has always been special. She's kind of been unmatched in terms of ability for her age. I think that's why it's so important for her to have Starlight Kid, because without each other, they just would have no one to wrestle. And I'm very glad that Azumi stayed in Queen's Quest. As you all know, I am very adamant about my opposition to the idea of Azumi joining Odo Tai. Her amazing personality would get overshadowed by such strong array of personalities that Odo Tai has. I mean, yeah, Azumi's great, but compare her to like Kagetsu, Sumire, Miyagi. They would just crush her in terms of charisma, and Azumi wouldn't stand out anymore. In Queen's Quest, she's pretty much the only one with a personality. So, and I mean that in a loving, joking way. I love the rest of the Queen's Quest personalities, but Azumi is the only one who has kind of this overwhelming charisma, and it makes her stand out even more in Queen's Quest. So moving on to Kagetsu's first pick. Kagetsu plays up the fact that Azumi was chosen, and that makes her sad, so she will pick Hazuki. Very good choice, obvious. Hazuki is an absolute powerhouse. I would put her in the A tier right now in terms of power levels, right below, the S tier, which is the top. And Hazuki was actually a little upset that Kagetsu didn't act happier about picking her. She didn't like the way Kagetsu worded it, so she made her redo it, and then Kagetsu did it much happier, and Hazuki was, pleased. That goes on to the fourth pick, and Hannah's Inter Army. And it was kind of a surprise, I gotta be honest. A lot of people online thought that Natsuko was going to go to Hannah's team. And I feel like that would have been a very good pick. But the first pick was Jungle Kiona. And while I think that is a very amazing pick, because Jungle Kiona is amazing. She's really good. Not many other people can show expressions and the story just through her face like that. She's very charismatic. She's a very good wrestler. She's the ultimate package, in my opinion, and it just sucks that she lost her team. Sorry, but I am super salty about that, and I'm probably not going to be salty about that for until Jungle gets her first singles belt. Let's just say that. So Hannah's first pick was Jungle, which didn't really surprise me too much that it was someone from Stardom. I know Hannah wanted to start this whole safe haven for foreigners to come in because Hannah loves the idea of Stardom being so open with foreigners. But she does need some core members that are always going to be there to back her up, And Jungle was a perfect fit. A counterbalance to Hannah's more traditional old school style of wrestling. Now she has the best power wrestler in Stardom. Do not say Utami, I will fight you. Now, when Hannah picked Jungle looked absolutely destroyed. She does not look okay. I will just put it that much. But she does say that she will try her best for her new team, which is just perfect Jungle. I mean, it's very inspirational how motivated Kiona is to always do her best and to try to look at things in a positive light. It's one of the reasons why she was one of my favorite wrestlers. It's I really looked up to her in a way, a lot. I think she's a really good role model to everyone. She just seems like a really, really good person. And I'm happy that she got picked first. It's something that she deserves, but she shouldn't have been in the draft at all because her team shouldn't have been disbanded. Round 2, Mayu seems to be taking into account how much crap she got for last year for her picks, and she at least seems to be acting like she's putting more thought into her picks. And for this one, she chose Arisa Hoshiki, which, in my opinion, wouldn't have been my second pick, but I understand why it's her second pick. Her and Arisa have a lot of history. Arisa has been kind of strong since coming back, and she's kind of Mayu's real tag partner in Stars right now, just because they had the history, and Mayu seems to dump everyone and just team up with a new person every time that happens. It's a very good pick. In my opinion, the second pick should have been Tam, but it's Mayu we're talking about here. And Arisa was her usual stupid, smiley self. And I say that with the best intentions because I love Arisa. I think she's a really awesome wrestler. I really like her. But her character cracks me up because she is just an idiot that just smiles all the time, and I love it. Now we're going to Queen's Quest's second pick, and of course she is going to pick Utami Hayashishita. Super obvious, it is her tag partner. If she lost Utami, then she would lose her belts. And Utami is kind of her official tag partner in Queen's Quest. And Utami is one of the strongest people in Stardom right now. She's in the A tier just like Jungle is. And just like Hazuki is. Is Hazuki in A tier then? Yeah, whatever. I don't know. I'm not going to try to tier them because I would have to go way more into thought on this than just off the top of my head. It was a very good pick for Queen's Quest. It's a very strong pick for Queen's Quest. Now let's go on to the next one. Kagetsu starts teasing Sumire a little bit and chooses Miyagi instead. And this was super hilarious because there's a running joke throughout this whole thing where Kagetsu just keeps not picking Sumire, and Sumire just has a huge meltdown in the back while the rest of everyone else laughs at her. And what's even better here is that after Miyagi gets picked, she puts on one of the most beautiful and inspirational speeches I've ever heard in my entire life. It was super wise, and I think we could all learn something from it. If you haven't watched it yet, definitely go watch it because it honestly affected me in a very deep way. Hannah time, and she's shaking things up here, and this is the big, I guess, swerve and or surprise pick of the show. It was Konami. Hannah picked Konami as her second pick, which was a phenomenal snatch in my opinion, because Konami is a beast, as we all know, and it actually rounds out her team very well. Hannah with the kind of stiff, old traditional style of wrestling. You know, she's a big girl, she overpowers her opponents, you know, does very basic moves just powerfully. Then you have Jungle, who's a power wrestler, one of the best power wrestler in Stardom, fight me. And she is the bear of the group. And then you have Konami now, the masterfully skilled technical submission machine, and someone who can kick with the best of them. It was a phenomenal pick, and honestly, Hannah's group, the Inter Army, is starting off very, very good. Konami doesn't seem to be too upset that she's leaving Queen's Quest. I don't know if that's supposed to assume or insinuate that Konami didn't really like it there, or if that's just Konami's personality, that she's just a very, let's go with it kind of person, just go with the flow. I don't know, maybe Konami is just happy to finally be on a team where all of the members can drink legally. I don't know. She just didn't seem too beaten up about it. And I'm actually really excited about this because it means we're going to be seeing some really awesome matches between Konami and Queen's Quest members. Third round. Mayu's turn again, and oh my god, did someone kill Tam's puppy? Like, why is she so sad? It was really bumming me out. She looked super depressed. I haven't seen the show before this because they haven't uploaded it yet, and I haven't seen the rest of the show that this happened at either because it wasn't uploaded. I wanted to see the draft and upload a video for you guys right away. This is actually the fastest I've ever went from watching a show to writing a script to recording. I'm literally doing this at, 12:30 a.m. and we watched the show at like 8 around there, and then I started writing the script around 10. It's crazy. I really want to get this out for you guys. But seriously, why is Tam so upset? I know she kind of broke down in the show before this, I heard, but I didn't really want to read too much into it because I didn't want spoilers. And I still don't. So if you know, please don't tell me. I don't want to know. This still applies to my spoiler policy. If it hasn't been uploaded to Stardom yet, the whole show, not just that match, the whole show needs to be uploaded to Stardom before you can talk about what happened in that show. I'm sorry. That means you, at the time of this video uploaded, you most likely cannot talk about the last match or the last show in this show. Please keep any discussion strictly to the draft. Now, I really don't know why she's upset, but she really, really looked depressed. She just walked up, said something like, if it wasn't the first pick, then it doesn't mean anything. And then like dropped the mic and then kind of hugged Mayu. And it was just really sad. I think she might just be really, really, really good friends with Mayu and is really depressed about not being able to train with her and wrestle with her for a while. Oh, it might also be because it's because of Tam that Mayu has to do this, because Mayu's injury was from when Tam jumped, and Tam might be depressed because she feels guilty. Next is Queen's Quest's pick, and unsurprisingly, they pick B.A. Priestley, one of my favorite foreigners of Stardom. She has really improved since her first tour. She's no longer hurting people left and right. She is a much safer wrestler, and she's really interesting to watch in a wrestling style. But what's really great about her is her enthusiasm and love for Queen's Quest. It is very evident that she actually cares about Queen's Quest. I don't want to put words in her mouth, and I don't know her in any way, never talked to her, but it seems like she's almost honored to be in Queen's Quest, and it makes me like her that much more because she appreciates being in there more than any other person I've seen. So I'm very happy about this pick. I think it's a very good pick. And I hope her deal signing with AEW doesn't affect her ability to come back at a regular pace, like all the time, like she is now. So let's go on to Odo Tai. And Odo Tai's third round pick? Yeah. So Odo Tai's third round pick is Natsuko Tora. And this one surprised me a bit, but not really. After Jungle got taken to the Inter Army, I was not very surprised to see Natsuko go to Odo Tai because I assumed Natsuko was going to either go to Odo Tai or the Inter Army. That's just how it is. That's just her personality. She can't really fit anywhere else. So the one problem I had was Natsuko seemed too enthusiastic about joining Odo Tai. Now, this is a group that had constantly ridiculed her, taunted her, belittled her, made fun of her weight, called her piggy, short and dumpy, all that crap. There was never one time where any member of Odo Tai treated her decently. But then she gets picked and all of a sudden she's showing respect to Natsuko, or showing respect to Kagetsu, and then like hugging them all and being super excited about joining their team. I mean, I'm not saying she needed to hate being in Odo Tai, but I'm saying that I would have liked her to show a little bit of resistance. Like, instead of being so happy to join, she could say, I haven't forgotten what all of you guys have said about me. I don't like any of you really, but I don't really want to be a part of any other team because they all seem like wusses or something. Anything to make it seem like she had a little reservation about joining Odo Tai. With that said, I am super happy to see Natsuko in Odo Tai. For those of you who don't know and don't follow her on social media, she's a little bit of like a goth. She's always posting these pictures of her in like these darker clothes and dressing up and stuff like that. She's really attractive, guys, honestly. I don't know if you guys know this, but she actually really is. I know it doesn't really come through well in her wrestling outfit, but when she's got the right clothes on and stuff like that. Now, with her joining Odo Tai and Jungle being in Hana's new group, I love that connection. I mean, Kagetsu and Hana have a huge beef. Jungle and Natsuko are now going to have very complicated feelings because I'm assuming Natsuko is going to completely change like Hazuki did, either by next show or a couple shows next. Now we get to the part of Hana's picks that is pretty boring in my opinion. A lot of her picks are foreigners that weren't there, and I understand. Her group's the International Army. It makes sense. And I'm not saying these are bad picks, even though in my opinion a lot of them are bad picks, but that's what she wants. She literally said one of the reasons she signed to Stardom was because of how open and accepting they are of foreigners. I mean, I'm not going to get angry at her for it. You do you. That's awesome. I really respect that. But the foreigners she picked are just foreigners that I don't really like. That's just how it is. So she chose Mary Apache. As you guys know, I'm not a big fan of her. I feel like she's super talented in the technical aspect of wrestling, and that's it. I don't think she's a good seller. I don't think she's a good promo, even though I can't really say that. She's a bad promo in Stardom. I'll say that. I can't talk about her work outside of Stardom because I bet she's amazing on the mic in Spanish or whatever. But in Stardom, it's boring. She doesn't sell well. She's just not believable in the ring. She just goes from one spot to the next. It doesn't look fluid and believable. It's like a job for her. In Stardom. Remember, I'm just saying in Stardom. Not a fan. So, let's go to the next round. Round 4, and Mayu does some thinking again. Teases that she's going to pick Sumire and has this little cute, funny moment with Kagetsu where they kind of just like look at each other and nod and kind of like laugh and stuff, and they talk to each other. It's super hilarious. But Mayu ends up picking Saki Kashima, and this was a little sad because Saki did not look very happy. She came in and she was talking about how Mayu was being really cold to her all day and that she had like really bad anxiety that Mayu wasn't going to pick her. I feel really bad for her. Like she's that loved in Stardom right now. I don't know. It was a great pick. Saki is a phenomenal wrestler. I always call her the chaotic wrestler because she just has such a wide moveset, and it just looks like every time she does something, it's not like planned. It doesn't seem like she's just pulling it out of a book. She's in a position and she's like, oh, hey, maybe I can do this. Like it always kind of seems like that, and I really enjoy that. So good pick on Mayu. Mayu actually did a lot better in terms of picks this time. We're going to Momo next for Queen's Quest, and her next pick for this round is Viper. Obvious choice, very good choice. Viper's kind of unstoppable. I am a little worried that Queen's Quest focus so much on foreigners right now instead of maybe picking up some other stronger opponents right now, because they're looking kind of bare. I mean, they have Momo, an injured Utami, and then Azumi. I'm not counting BA because, she's a foreigner. She's not going to be there all the time. So just core members, Stardom signed members. Queen's Quest is looking pretty weak. Moving on to Odotai. And for round 4, Odotai chooses Jamie Hayter. It's around this time that the rest of Odotai that have already been picked are just cracking up. And Sumire is having a full-blown meltdown over in where they're all standing. It's super hilarious. I think Kagetsu really, really liked messing with her this much. So, on to the next round. Now, the 4th final pick by Hannah's Inter Army was Natsumi, Mary Apache's daughter. Like, is she even, like, where is she? Like, she was here for a little while and then she just disappeared. So, next round. Round 5, Mayu chooses Hanan to join Stars. And she actually said something pretty interesting here. She said, the future leader of Stars, Hanan, which really confused me because Hanan is only 14? Starlight Kid is 17 right now. So 14, 15, 16, 17. Starlight Kid's only 3 years, or Hanan's only 3 years younger than Starlight Kid. Are you telling me that when they're both older, Hanan is going to be the leader of Stars and not Starlight Kid? I mean, they're only 3 years apart, Mayu. I mean, whatever. Hanan seemed very pleased with this pick, and moving on. Queen's Quest chose Chardonnay, which I didn't even know that she was going to come back. She doesn't get talked about nearly as much as BA and Viper. I honestly thought that she just kind of zoned out, like she wasn't coming back. It was just like a one-time thing, and then they stopped. I don't know. Maybe she just has a lot more obligations and she can't come back as much as Viper and BA. Not really a big fan of this pick. Chardonnay was cool. She was a good wrestler. Just out of all of the Queen's Quest foreigners, she was kind of like my least favorite. So now Kagetsu. Kagetsu finally acknowledges that she's been torturing Sumire enough, and she goes on to choose Martina. So Martina has been picked again, and Sumire was left alone again. Moving on to Hannah. Hannah went and chose another foreigner here, but a foreigner that was actually there, Rebel Kell. Rebel Kell seemed to have this cool little handshake thing with Hannah, and that was interesting. I didn't know that they were getting along that well. I'm not really that big a fan of Rebel, as you guys know. I think in progression of her matches, she did get good enough where she wasn't really bringing down the match by the end. So hopefully, she improves a little bit. Next round. Round 6. Mayu comes out to pick her own foreigner, Zaya Brookside. I don't really like Zaya. I know I'm probably in like the severe minority there. She's a good wrestler. I just don't like her. I don't know. She just doesn't click with me, It's purely just me not liking her as a wrestler. Queen's Quest. Now, Queen's Quest chooses a new member because they got all of their members back, and now all that's left to do is either stop or choose someone new, and they decided to choose someone new, and Momo decides to choose Leo Onozaki. Now, I'm sure you guys are all expecting me to think this was a terrible choice, but you don't know me. I actually am very fond of this pick. From shortly after her debut, I actually have kind of always thought that Leo was Queen's Quest material. Now, that might be surprising to some of you because Leo's been kind of the one I've been a little bit the most harsh on because she's just not that good. But that's why. I think she can be better than what she is now. I think she's one of those people who just don't have natural ability. She needs to work very, very hard for any progression she gets. And I think she has it in her. I really do. I think she can be, at the very least, a good wrestler. Maybe even a very good wrestler, at the very least. I think she just needs more time to work on it. And what better way than to be with a group that are striving to literally push the boundaries of wrestling. You have some of the hardest working, up and coming wrestlers in Queen's Quest right now. And she could really learn a lot from Momo and Izumi. They have a lot of experience and skill and know-how between them to really, really help out Leo. And I'm very curious to know if Leo is going to continue on her idiot who just wants to be helpful character that she kind of debuted towards the end of John's lifetime. I really hope not. When she got picked, she came up, said she was very surprised. She was shocked, but she would try her best for her new team. And there you go. Leo is now official member of Queen's Quest. Yeah, shocking. Kagetsu feels that she has tortured Sumire enough and decides to finally choose her. So she chooses Sumire in this round, and Sumire is her usual comical self. She gets all huffy and puffy on the mic and even insinuates that she was getting really worried that she was going to have to join Stars. Much to the enjoyment of the rest of Odotai, they just cracked up. This whole time, Miyagi and Hazuki could not keep a straight face. They were cracking up the entire time. It was hilarious. Now, Odotai was complete and they ended their turn there, right? I'm just double checking. Yep. They stopped there and they no longer wanted any more people. So there you go. The official end team of Odotai. Kagetsu, Hazuki, Miyagi, Natsuko Tora, and Natsu Sumire, Jamie Hayter, and Martina. 7 people. Oh. 7 people. Moving on to Hannah. Hannah's next choice was another person not there, Bobby Tyler. She was pretty good. I think she really fit well with Hannah. I really don't have too much to say about her. She's really hasn't left too good of an impression on me, but she really hasn't done anything to leave a bad impression on me. I'm kind of indifferent on her right now, which is better than being against her. Like she could definitely impress me next time. I don't know. I'm willing to give her a shot. So, next round. Round 7, and 2 more teams decide to end their turns here. Mayu starts off quickly with choosing Saya Ida. Now, this one actually surprised me quite a bit because I thought Saya was going to be put in Queen's Quest. I mean, it's Queen's Quest. Like, Saya always just seemed like Queen's Quest to me. Like, always, from the very beginning. But she goes to Stars, and Saya is still crying, by the way. Still crying. She says that she's going to do her best for her new team, and, she joins. Next, we go to Queen's Quest, and this actually surprised me. I mean, it didn't really surprise me too much. I never would have guessed it, but once it happened, I understood why. Momo chose as Hina. Now, for those of you who don't know, Hina is the one with the shorter hair and wears blue. Hina is... When she first debuted, she looked like the type of the sisters. She looked like, out of the 2 twins, the one that was the most outgoing and sportsy. Well, you find out that she's actually the super shy one of the trio, and she's only really outgoing and fun when she's with her sisters, who she can kind of like lean on and rely on, as evident from their social media, where they're constantly uploading videos of them 3 doing just funny sister stuff, which is super awesome to see. That's just really heartwarming that they're so close. But bad thing happened. Hina actually starts crying, like, really bad, because she thought that her and her sisters were going to stay together on the same team, and her getting chosen by Queen's Quest means that she won't team with at least Hannon again. If she had not been picked, then she at least still had the chance of joining Hannon, because then she's not affiliated with the team. But her getting picked by Queen's Quest means that she is no longer able to team with Hannon, at the very least. And so she starts crying, much to the surprise of Momo, who is a little taken aback by it. And Azumi goes to comfort her, and Utami looked completely shocked, and she went to go comfort her as well. And everyone started booing Momo because of it, which, by the way, is such bull, because it's Mayu's fault, because she stopped her turn after choosing Hannon, or after choosing Saya, but she chose Hannon, chose Saya, and then stopped her turn. Meaning that no matter what, the sisters were getting split up. It's Mayu's fault. Okay? Mayu's, not Momo's. Momo is just giving Hina a home. So after that pick, Momo ends her turn, and she no longer wants anyone else. With every team being done except Hannah, she just does all of the rest of her picks. Next, she picks for this round Ruka. She does kind of like an eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and surprisingly, Ruka seemed very happy about this. I don't know if Hannah and Ruka are close behind the scenes, or if Ruka is just happy she got picked, because last year she didn't get picked, and according to Jungle, she was crying backstage when it happened last year. Good for her. I mean, it sucks that John got broken up, and you could tell that when Jungle got eliminated, she was crying and stuff, so she was actually really upset about that. But she's willing to do her best for her new team. This leads to only one person being left, Rena, and she's just sitting over there alone crying, and Hannah says that she picks her, and Rena comes in and crying and tries to wipe the tears out of her eyes and says that she'll do her best and goes on. But what's really weird here that I didn't catch the first time, because we kind of rewatched the draft, me and my dad, like 2 or 3 times, just going to different moments to look at everyone's reactions while things were happening. And my dad pointed out to me that and for you guys to watch this too, is that when Rina is talking on the mic after getting picked, watch Hina. That is one of the most heartbreaking things I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, it is legit super sad. It's depressing. Hina looks broken. It made me realize that Hina doesn't do good without her sisters. Probably. She's probably the one that always leans on them. She needs them. She's the type of person who doesn't care if they're last, doesn't care if they're on the worst team in the entire thing. As long as she's with her sisters, she's happy. And, that's kind of special. Hana then has one more pick. She's not done. She chooses Kaori Yoneyama. So now 3 ex-members of John are in Hana's group. And technically, Hana has the most members. She has the most members. She has 10 members, I believe. And this is crazy, because most of her members aren't even there all the time. But she does have 4 core members, not counting herself. So that's pretty interesting. I'm excited to see where that goes. After the picks, each team takes a little bit of time, and by a little bit, I mean a very little bit of time, to talk about their team's aspirations, like what they strive to do after this. I am good at words. Momo starts off being super excited that Konami is now an enemy and she can face her finally, which just, goes to prove that my theory that Momo is the world's biggest sadist and masochist ever. She just loves destroying her enemy, both physically, emotionally, and mentally. Like, you could see in her eye and her smirk when she was talking about Konami being like an opponent now, she really wanted to mess her up. And not in like a she hates her kind of way. In just Momo really, really likes hurting people. That's just my theory. Don't take that as gospel. That's just like the character I like to make for Momo, because while she does have a little nuances, a lot of her actions kind of support my theory in a way. But it could easily be said that my theory is completely wrong. So don't take it as gospel. And by the way, that whole theory makes me love Momo even more, because I think that is such a cool character. She talks about that, and then she also talks about how she wants Queen's Quest to still get all of the belts. That is still their main goal. It has not changed just because they lost Konami. Next was Odotai. Odotai takes the mic, and by Odotai I mean Kagetsu. Kagetsu takes the mic, and she starts talking about how it's funny that the John members got scattered around. And at first, Natsuko seems to laugh at this, but then Jungle kind of starts talking crap about them a little bit more. And you can kind of see Natsuko's reaction go from kind of like joking, laughing to like kind of like serious, agitated, and annoyed. It could easily be interpreted as her just trying to be a hard person, a mean person. But I like to interpret it as she kind of got annoyed at Kagetsu's ribs, because while Natsuko is happy to be in Odotai, I don't think she was happy that John got dismissed. She still looks back on that moment, those moments, as fond, happy. That's all they say. They just say, get ready for a new Natsuko. Moving on to Hannah's group, Hannah jumps down, quotes Che Guevara or something, that like communist dude that everyone quotes and thinks is like a really great guy for some reason. I don't know if this is an actual quote by him, but she says something like, you can only shine diamonds with diamonds, and she says that she wants to shine the gems that she picked into diamonds. And it really made me look at Hannah kind of in a new light. I think Hannah as a person is a lot more fun, easygoing, and I think she's way more nice and supportive than her character likes to portray. And I think with her new signing to Stardom and her new character she's doing, I think she's trying to let that shine a little bit more. And I really hope that, because she actually seemed like she genuinely supported them. I'm not as convinced with the after show tweets between them where she called Jungle her dog. Now, I know the translation isn't the best, but I can't see in what way that would ever be a good thing. And I don't know. I think that's a really cool thing for her to do, though. I think that is a very good aspiration and goal. Now, moving on to Stars, Mayu takes the mic last, and she starts talking about their aspiration. Mayu's aspirations for Stars is that she wants them to just keep being the good guys of Stardom. You're not, not cheating and stuff, which... Okay, Mayu. I mean, you can even see the looks on everyone's faces in Stars when she was saying that. Like, they all kind of had this look on their face like, yeah, we'll keep doing that for sure. Like, come on, Stars is dirty just like everyone else. They just have brighter clothes, so no one notices. Now, with the whole thing over with, what do I think? It really, really sucks that John was disbanded. I really don't like that. Like, a lot. But for that tremendously terrible, horrible event to happen means that we got all these really cool events in the draft. So, I don't know if it evens out for me yet. I need to see where they go with this stuff. If they're actually going to do something with all of this stuff, because Stardom kind of has this reputation of dropping the ball on what could be really amazing storylines. Cough, cough, Hannah and Tam, cough, cough. So hopefully they don't drop the ball on these, because I'm actually pretty excited about all the things that they could do with all these new interactions with members and matchups. Now this leads me to that thing that I mentioned all the way in the beginning of this video. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I don't know how long I've been talking. I know I just talk and don't shut up. But this is the only time I get to talk about wrestling, really. So there's been a kind of debate online about whether something that was done was good or bad. And the thing that was done was apparently the only people who knew the outcome of the match and who was going where were the leaders of the teams and like a few people in management. Yes. Put that together. That means every reaction that you saw was genuine outside of the four main members. That means every action by someone not named Mayu Iwatani, Momo Watanabe? Yeah, Momo Watanabe. I know that apparently I'm saying these wrong now, and that where you stress them is different, but that's how I heard them being said, and that's how I said them all this time, and it's too late for me to change. So anybody's reaction not named Mayu Iwatani, Momo Watanabe, Kagetsu, Jungle, Kiona, and Hana Kimura were all genuine. Yeah, let that sink in. You know those heartbroken faces of the John members after Jungle got eliminated? All real. Hina's defeated, crying face as she's getting split up from her sisters? That was real, guys. The actual laughs and surprise looks of Odo Tai every time Kagetsu swerved and didn't choose Sumire, all real. Now, the debate is whether this was right to do or not. One side is saying that it's really messed up to do because you're causing mistrust with the wrestlers and you're breaking these people's hearts, and just for like our entertainment, because a lot of the people there are not older and they're not actresses. You wouldn't be able to get a good reaction out of them. And then on the other hand, the other side is saying things like, this is their job. To get a genuine reaction, that's what you need to do sometimes. I mean, that's what they do in movies sometimes with child actors. Now, whether that's a good or a right or wrong thing, I don't know. I lean more towards the it was okay side of it, as long as they had the proper support after the show. If they were able to work it out with the people that, they're leaving and actually getting proper emotional support from the people around them, then I'm okay with it. But it just makes it much worse, in my opinion, watching it. Because, John got absolutely blindsided. Imagine being Ruka, Leo, Saya, these people who don't really fit in with the other groups, and then sitting there cheering for Jungle, and Jungle gets eliminated right in front of you, that you didn't know was going to happen. All of those tears were completely genuine, apparently. It's so messed up. It genuinely hurts a little bit in the heart, you know? Now, with that soul-crushing aspect out of the way, overall, I really enjoyed this draft. I thought a lot of really great things were done. I'm really looking forward to some of the matchups now. The leader of Hannah's team is kind of in a beef with the leader of Odotai. And then Jungle is kind of in a beef with Utami. And Konami doesn't have beef with anybody. But Arisa and Hazuki have beef, so that connects them. And it's going to be really awesome. And to be completely honest, the two of the people that I'm really, really looking forward to seeing how they integrate into their new groups is Leo Onozaki and Hina. I'm legitimately excited to see how they react, because I'm actually kind of worried about Hina. I don't know if she's going to be able to handle this. I mean, and for all of you who are going to be like, oh, she'll be fine. Dude, you're being God, how am I supposed to say this and keep it clean? I don't know, stop white knighting or what, I don't know. I'm not trying to white knight here, okay? I'm just saying that Hina seemed pretty, maybe misogynistic, I guess. This isn't because she's a girl, guys. She legit looked defeated. That's past sad, guys. That's there's, sad, defeated. It's after that. She looked dead inside, and I'm a little worried about her. I hope she's able to work through it with her sisters and everybody, and that Momo, Utami, and Azumi are there for her. You can be as harsh as you want on screen and all that, but I really hope they're going to be there for her emotionally behind the scenes. And Leo, because I think Leo's been progressing here soon, and I'm curious to know if they're going to change Leo's character or not. If they keep her the stupid, always want to be helpful but keeps hindering things character, that usually wouldn't fly in Queen's Quest. Queen's Quest is kind of supposed to be you sink and swim on your own. If you're hurting the team, you're a liability. Grow up type thing. So hopefully we'll see some progression from Leo there. Also, one last thing I just want to say, this has nothing to do with the video really, but I don't want to make this seem like it's real or not, but I don't know if it is. So Jungle seems to be having a really hard time with this on Twitter. I don't know if she's just being in character, just playing it up or whatnot, but she seems legitimately distressed with what's happened, and I'm a little worried about her. Just because she just had her whole world rocked, and she just kind of let down all of those young girls. And I can see someone who is as maternal as Jungle having that really affect her. So if you guys could just kind of send her good feelings through Twitter, just let her know that you think she's awesome or something, or that she tried her best or something. I don't know. Just I feel like she could probably really need it right now. I would really appreciate it if you guys could do that. So thank you for joining me. Goodbye.